Anybody knows me knows I'm a huge Ohio State football fan. In fact, I'm making this video in the shadow of Ohio Stadium. Some people might think I'm obsessed with Ohio State football. And I'll be the first to admit, I am obsessed. The reason why I say that is because there are a lot other things in this world to be fanatical about that's much more dangerous. Now, I say all this mainly because this past weekend I got a chance to meet one of the legendary Ohio State Buckeyes from the 2014-2015 season. Of course, I'm talking about the third string quarterback, the three-game legend, I call him, Cardale Jones. Of course, in case you don't know who he is, Cardale Jones was the third string quarterback. During the 2014 season, Braxton Miller, our starting quarterback, was injured before the season started. JT Barrett took his place, and he had an amazing season, with the exception of the loss to Virginia Tech. He won every game and started setting records, even becoming a Heisman Trophy candidate. Unfortunately, during our win against that team up north, of course I'm talking about the Michigan Wolverines, he was injured. He injured his knee, which led to Cardale Jones starting in the next game against the Wisconsin Badgers for the Big Ten Conference Championship. The questions were circling everywhere about him. Can this kid, a third string quarterback, actually win? Hell yeah, he did. In the most amazing way possible. 49-0. Winning the Big Ten Conference Championship, putting the brakes on a Heisman Trophy candidate from Wisconsin. And of course, the day after, Ohio State was selected for the first 2014 college football playoff, the 4-team playoff. We were selected to go against Alabama, the biggest dog in the yard, the Alabama Crimson Tide. And of course, the questions around him keep circling because no one was giving this kid a chance. No one was giving him a chance to win this game. And perhaps one of the most classic games of college football, Cardale Jones won against the biggest dog of the SEC, the Alabama Crimson Tide, in a classic. It came down to a last-second interception by Ohio State. And of course, the next game, the national championship game against the Oregon Ducks, we became national champions thanks to Cardale Jones. I mean, obviously we had that team was stacked, of course, with people like Ezekiel Elliott, but of course Cardale Jones becoming the first quarterback, the first third string quarterback to do what he did, winning 3 huge games. The Big Ten Conference Championship game, the playoff semifinal against the Alabama Crimson Tide, the biggest dogs in the yard, winning the national championship game against a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, Marcus Mariota. You see that I'm obsessed, right? But let me explain as to why I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with sports, with college sports, with the Ohio State football, because quite honestly, excuse me, there's nothing else outside of going to church that brings a lot of people together more than sport, and just as important as church. The problems of the world disappear in those 60 minutes of football on the football field. So you can call me obsessed. I call myself a fan, a huge fan. Call me obsessed all you want. I'm just a fan. Now, there's a difference between a fan and being obsessed. And I belabor this because I want to talk about someone and people. Of course, unfortunately, I gotta bring politics into it. I need to talk about people who are Donald Trump supporters. People who are just so incredibly entranced with this man that they can't see past anything that he's done wrong. They say everything he's done right. There's nothing he's done wrong. I get that because mainly they're obsessed with this man. They see him as a messiah. They see him as a god. But when you cross the line of being a supporter to being obsessed with him, that's where I have to draw the line. And of course, I have to mention Nick Adams. Nick Adams, this guy, this is what the point I'm trying to make on this here. Nick Adams is obsessed with Trump. Like really, totally, unbelievably obsessed with Donald Trump. I mean, I'm not talking about fan obsessed like I am when it comes to Ohio State. I'm talking about obsessed with this man. Not too long ago, this guy actually posted on Twitter that he would pour gasoline, in his words, kerosene, on his body and set himself on fire if that was what it took to get Donald Trump back in the office in 2024, in this year. Now, again, you can call me an obsessed fan for Ohio State if you want. And I'll be the first to admit, maybe I am. I mean, members of my family will tell me that I'm obsessed. And honestly, maybe I am. And I look at them and I say this. I may be obsessed about Ohio State, but there are worse things in this world to be obsessed about, to be fanatical about. And the reason why I say that is because, honestly, as much as I love going in this stadium, as much as I love sitting on my couch watching Ohio State play, the games I mentioned with Cardell Jones, I still watch on YouTube. So yeah, I'm obsessed. But in the end of the day, that is just a sport. A sport. This isn't life and death. What Nick Adams and a lot of other Donald Trump supporters are doing is life and death. They're talking about pouring gasoline on themselves and setting themselves on fire for the sake of Donald Trump. That to me is dangerous. That's 9/11 kind of stuff right there. That's hijacking a plane and flying into a tower kind of stuff. That's crazy in my eyes. Now you can say I'm crazy because I love the Buckeyes, I love the football, I love college sports in general. But even I have my limits. I'm not going to lose my job because of this. If anything, I'll just record the damn thing on television and watch it when I get off work. Or if I'm really that desperate, I'll watch it on my iPhone, which I probably do, which I did more than a few times. Anyway, what Donald Trump supporters are doing and saying, how far they're willing to go for Donald Trump, that to me is incredibly dangerous. Because it's only a matter of time before they cross that line from I'm willing to die for Trump to I'm willing to kill for Trump. That's how dangerous these people really are. I love Ohio State football. I love this. This is what I live for in the fall. When September hits, this is where I am, this is where I go. But I'm not gonna kill myself if I don't get a chance to see any of the games. I'm not gonna kill myself if Ohio State loses to that team up north again, if that happens again. I'm not that obsessed. I'm obsessed to the point where every Saturday I'm wearing my Ohio State jersey, sitting on my couch or sitting in that stadium, cheering my Buckeyes on, as I've done for the last few years. But I'm not gonna stand and pour gasoline on myself, strike a match and burn myself if Ohio State doesn't win the next game or so. That is insanity. What Nick Adams and the rest of the MAGA are thinking about doing, that's 9/11 territory. That's suicide bomb territory in my eyes. if any of the MAGA, and I know you guys are probably gonna watch this video, you're gonna make fun of me like you've already done, you're gonna make threats at me like you've already done. If any of you guys have that mentality in your heads, saying that I'm gonna kill myself for Donald Trump, I'm willing to die for Donald Trump, you need to get some kind of help. Donald Trump is not worth that. He never has been, and he never will be. No one is worth dying for, especially a jackass like Donald Trump. You know what's worth dying for? If you're members of the military, what's worth dying for is your country. What's worth dying for is the rights of freedom. What's worth dying for is your family. Donald Trump is the worst excuse to die for. Now, I love Ohio State, but they're not worth dying for. What the hell is wrong with you people that you would say something like that? Nick Adams, I have repeatedly told you that I want to debate you on something like this, on this point. You're too much of a coward to stand up and face me. Either on Twitter, either on Facebook. Right now, hell, come to this city. I'll telecast the son of a bitch. But when you say something like that, it makes me want to question you. What in the hell is going on in that head of yours? What's going on in that head of yours? Are you really so entranced by Donald Trump that you're willing to die for him? He's not worth it. Get some help, Adams. I'm being 100% honest with you. I'm not making fun of you. I'm not saying this and that about you. Get some help. Voting for Trump, campaigning for Trump is one thing. Dying for Trump is something else entirely different. Don't die for him. Don't kill yourself for him. He ain't worth it, man. He is just not worth it. And if you think he is, you need to get some help. Because sooner or later, you're going to actually commit suicide for this bastard. Or you're going to kill someone for Donald Trump, because you're inching closer and closer and closer to that. As I said earlier, and I'm going to close this video, I love my Ohio State Buckeyes. I love going into that stadium year after year. I love cheering on with my fellow fans, loving this shit. I love it. But I'm not going to kill for it, and I'm certainly not going to die for it. For those of you who think you need to make that supreme sacrifice for Donald Trump, get some help. Oh, and one more thing. Go Bucks. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.